There is an incredible, obnoxious double standard for businesses between big business and small business that media and politicians never talk about. At least I haven't heard it, but I'll talk about it. And so I like to go to seminars, natural health and healing seminars, financial seminars. I'm one of those guys. I like to fly to faraway places and attend those. And it's not accredited towards anything. I just like learning. Going to fault me for learning? I love learning, especially from people smarter than me. So that's why I go to these. And it helps me improve my life and to help other people improve theirs. So one of the financial seminars I go to, the guy was up there, no disrespect towards him whatsoever, but he was just telling us how it is. But here's what he said. He said, okay, so the goal for all of you with a small business is to become a big business. And very few people ever achieve that. And the reason you want to be a big business is because there's this double standard. There's this unfair rule, this rigging against small businesses and individuals too. So even if you don't own a business, this still applies to you. But it's a rigging, a double standard rigged totally against you and in favor of big businesses that are big enough to get tax credits, not just certain deductions, but credits. In other words, government handouts that are not available to anybody else, individuals or smaller businesses. And then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, that's completely unfair. That's not right. It's not equal opportunity. That's a rigging against everybody unless you're already a billionaire. And then, of course, the lecturer went on to say, now you can cry about it. You can bitch and moan about how unfair it is. And this isn't a seminar about fairness. This is about my function up here is to tell you the way that it is. And then you respond to it. That's on you how you respond to it. And he's right. So no disrespect to the lecturer whatsoever. And so I wanted to share that with you so that you are more aware of what we're up against, what we're up with, because it's not talked about. Politicians and media, when they talk about certain policies, tax policies that favor business, they're not making that discernment between, well, what business does it favor? They say it like it favors all businesses, and that's factually not true. When a media pundit or a politician talks about, this tax policy is going to favor business, typically it's, these tax cuts, the trickle-down economic theory that's been disproven every time it's ever been applied. They tell you it's good for business, it's business-friendly. What they're not telling you that it's only good for less than 2% of the businesses, the ones that are big enough to buy politicians to help them get elected, and then the politicians turn around and create these credits and these other basically government handouts, this state of welfare and socialism for the biggest business owners in the world. So they're doing favors. It's pay-for-play politics, it's corruption, it's all of those things. So we don't have a functioning democracy, we have a corporatocracy. The biggest corporations help politicians get elected with large campaign donations. Then the politicians return that favor with legislation, typically in tax credits and other things beyond just deductions, and loosening regulations that protect workers and the environment from being exploited, right? And so we have a corporatocracy. So the next time you hear a media pundit or a politician talk about how a tax cut and deregulation is going to be good for business, I want you to realize they're lying to you because they are not disclosing a fact to you that the only business it's good for are the biggest businesses in the world that bought politicians to create these loopholes and credits and deregulations and this and that, basically a welfare state for the richest people in the world who do not need any welfare or socialism. I wish those lazy bums would get off the government teat, pick themselves up by their own bootstraps like they're always yelling at you and I to do, and just get off the welfare and socialism. They don't need it. There's people starving who do need it, and they're stealing it from the rest of the country. So that is the truth, and it's up to you with what you do about it. Now, me, being a small business owner, true, I don't get the credits and the welfare that the biggest businesses get. However, it's still way beyond worthwhile because it does, even if you're not a big business, if you're a small business, it's still, at that point you become a business owner, you get all kinds of favor that opens up to you, deductions and whatnot, and you're in control of your income as well as your tax rate too, for that matter. So it's still a huge advantage. It's just not the advantage of, well, I'm going to get handouts. No. So it's still worthwhile. It still puts debt and taxes and everything in your favor, just without the corporate welfare that the bigger businesses get. So that's important to understand that too. So I'll be tickled if anybody is even interested in this video, but for everyone who's either interested or not interested, this still affects you profoundly. And this is one of those examples where people are just completely asleep. And for this, it's kind of understandable why. Who's going to want to click on a video that's titled the way that it's titled? It's not very interesting sounding. It's one of those instances where something completely unsexy and uninteresting has a profound effect over your lives. So therefore, it's easier for industry to pull the wool over you because you're not even interested in paying attention to something like this. So this is just one of many ways in which you're rigged against and screwed over, and you'll never know about it because most of you are not interested in something like this, but you should be, because you could make different decisions that are overwhelmingly in your favor and just make life so much more easier. But that is the way that it is. And if you're one of the few people that is interested in something like what I just talked about, send me a private message or a comment or something and let me know you're one of the few, because I'd just be tickled to death if even one person did that. All right, bye for now, everybody. My website, TomBerkenmeyer.com, if you want to see more of what I'm about, just like it spells here on social media, TomBerkenmeyer.com.